Hey everybody, this is Cherokee Edwards from Cherokee Edwards Inspires, where we're going to have shows here to talk about life, to talk about what makes your life special, what makes it better, and everybody working together, because together everyone achieves more. Acronym for the word team. Stay tuned and let's get it on. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Cherokee Edwards Inspires show. And we're getting ready to talk about the survival of the game. Now, when I'm talking about the survival of the game, what is the game? The game is this thing we're living in. It's called life. I say surviving the game because people play so many games throughout life that if you don't know how to recognize it, you get caught up and swept away. You know, there's a lot of people that will call you a friend and you'll call them your friend. And the problem is, I don't think a lot of us know what a true friend is. We don't really know the definition of friends a lot of times because we call people our friends that talk about us every chance they get behind our backs and behind your back, you know? It's one of the first things you're going to start learning about. You learn about in elementary school. You know, you have a friend that, you know, you're in the cafeteria with, you eat with them at lunch, you know, you hang out with them out there in the playground when during recess. But all of a sudden, there's times where they go into a clique. They get accepted into another clique. And you don't realize this, but somebody that's not really your friend, or even we would even call them an enemy, this so-called friend is taking information back and forth to them. And that generally results in fights, especially where I come from, you know, North Philadelphia. But I'm sure it worked anywhere, you know, because everybody has these type of air quote friends, right? But the true titles that I want to talk about in this edition is friends, associates, non-associates, and just pure family, you know, like, so in other words, the order that I would want to talk to it about is, you know, what is family? You know, people think family, they think relatives, right? So you got your family, that's category one. You have your friend, you have your associate, and then you have your non-associate. And you have to know the non-associate is obviously easy. That's somebody you don't want to be around. You know, they don't want to be around you. You don't want to be around them. You know, it's usually trouble and drama related, right? But the ones that are a little harder to deal with, but once you learn how to deal with them, it can take you right through your life. And it's very, very important to know what a friend and associate is, the difference in the two. The friend is actually, to be honest with you, could be more family to you than your relatives. Your relatives, you have no control of who and what family you were born into. You were born into that family. You will always be a part of that family, of that bloodline. Now, as you grow, you start understanding what a true friend is. And that friend is the one that's down for you through the good and the bad times, not just the good times. Anybody can be cool with you during the good times. You know, there's a saying called fair weather friends, right? Fair weather friends. And you want that fair weather friend, you want that friend to be there to the end. You know, Johnny Gill sung a song and I love it to this day. And if you guys are listening to me, just type it in your toolbar and listen to it. Spotify, whatever. It's called Fair Weather Friends by Johnny Gill. And that song, it'll probably give you goosebumps, but it also make you think. I want you to list out 10 people, right? And if you hang out with more than that, you can make the line. But, you know, stop it at 10. List it 10 people or the people that you hang around the most. That's who you give your time to the most. Some of you, the list will be shorter, but whatever that list is, I want you to write out that list. Don't go past 10. And with each one of these people, I want you to ask yourself a question as you go down each list. What do they bring to your life to make it better? How do they make your life better? Now, remember, you need to make their lives better too, or you're that one. But right now, for this work, this exercise, we're gonna make you the good friend, and we're gonna find out if the people around you are your friends. Because here's the deal: you are what you hang around. You spend the most of your time with bad people that get in trouble, then you're going to be looked at as a troublemaker. You may not be, but you are going to be misconstrued as a troublemaker. You'll be lumped in. If you hang around good people, then you're going to be looked at as a good person. But you might not be a good person, but you'll at least be given the benefit of the doubt because of who you're hanging around, you're associated with. There's another saying: you're guilty by association. So let's get into this thing. A friend. What is a friend? A friend is somebody that when you're not feeling well, they don't have to hear you say it. They can look at you. They have studied you. They know you. They know the way you move. They know the way you talk. They know the way you look. They can look at you and say, hey, what's going on? And when they say what's going on, they really mean what's going on. They want to hear. They want to listen. This associate is somebody that you're hanging around, and it's pleasing to be around them for a while because, they make you feel good for a moment. When the things are going great, they're right there and everything seems good. Now, when you really need someone, they're nowhere to be found. You cannot count on them, but you do like them. So you associate with them constantly. You're around them a lot, and you might actually be their friend, but they're probably not yours. That's that associate. You're around them. A lot of times it's for somebody's benefit, but it's not going to be yours generally. That non-associate, we know, is very simple. That's that person that you don't want to be around no matter what, right? So we use the term friend so loosely a lot of times, and everyone, I'm guilty of it myself. I've called people friends that I know for sure were not my friends. Because as long as we're laughing and things are going good with them, we're laughing, we're feeling good, we're hanging around each other, everything looks great, right? But as soon as something is not right, things change. And hear me when I say this, not just something not right with me, like I'm going through something, but they could be going through something. And when they're going through something, they hit some type of switch. And that switch turns into them being very mean, very short with you. You didn't do anything to them, but they seem to take everything out on you. Well, a lot of it is because you're there to be taken out on. And I want to give you guys permission right now for yourself to love yourself enough to say you don't deserve it. Identify it. Now, there are times where even your best friend is going to need some space, is going to need some time, and you're going to have to be strong enough to say, okay, I'm going to give you your space, but I'm right here when you need me. Just know that I know something's wrong and I want to talk to you about it. I want you to know you're not alone. That's what a good friend does, because that friend is hurting because you're hurting. We have a situation going around the country and now around the world, and we're seeing people, band together that you would normally never see. We have the pandemic going on, and we have a lot of protesting going on, right? And I'm seeing something so beautiful that I never thought I would see. But you have all races trying to protect one race that's getting battered and bruised tremendously. And I'm just going to say this. The Black community is taking a bath. Again, we've taken a bath for a lot of times, and this is not something I wanted to do to make this racial. It's something that is current, and everybody can relate to what's going on right now. Well, hear me. Everybody has to understand here go my air quotes again, their so-called friends. We're in pain. So the last thing we really need you to do is try to justify why someone was murdered on social media and on basically live TV. We don't want to hear about him being an alcoholic or anything derogatory about him, because there's nothing you can tell me from what we witnessed on that scene that would have gave this man a right to kill him. None. And it's not just about him. It's about Brianna that was shot 8 times while she was in her bed. She was asleep, And I'm, I did a podcast about this before and I came out and spoke, but this is about this friendship thing. You had Ahmaud Arbery, there's things that have happened. I lost true great friends growing up in my city that were killed for absolutely no reason. Now, they weren't killed by the police officers. They were killed by our people in our community. And I talked about that too. I am not for that. I really believe that as a black man in America, I want to show these young black men coming up and women coming up that we have to love ourselves more too. Because generally when people know you love each other, they won't attack you as much. Just think about a real close-knit family that you see. And that they're loved and they're protected, and you're not going to just get one of them. You're going to have to get them all. But if you see a family that is divided, it's like a house divided cannot stand. So, it's one of those things where we have to love each other enough. And your friends a lot of time are going to be the true friends that you will have. They're going to be there with you during the darkest time, and they're going to give you that shoulder to lean on. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to let for station identification, let our sponsors talk to you from Anchor.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right, guys, this is Cherokee. I'm back. And we were talking about friends and the importance of friends, the importance of understanding the difference between friends and associates. And if you're one of my associates, please don't get it wrong and think, oh, I don't like you because you're an associate. No, you just have a lane to stay in. And I have a lane to stay in, right? See, a friend, when you need something, that friend's going to be there. They're not going to count how many people are helping you. They just know that they're going to be one of them. That's what they know. If you're being mistreated, they're going to step up and they're going to speak out for you on your behalf because they're your friends. An associate might be hanging around the event, and it's not a bad thing, but they might be hanging around, but they have limits to what they're going to do. Your family, your relatives, I say family, I'm going to say relatives. Some of your relatives will, some people have relatives that would die for them. I, on the other hand, do not. I was the youngest. I was the last one born in my family. I love my siblings, and I know they love me, but there are limits to what we will do with each other. It's been years since I've graced any of their presence or they've graced mine. And we're all okay with it. And I know some people be like, man, that's a shame. It's not. It's not a shame when everybody knows their place. When everybody understands where they stand with these people. And see, the best part about that, the most beautiful part about that is we don't fake it, guys. We used to call it in the street, we don't fake the funk. That means if we're not close like that, we don't act like we are. We don't want to put on airs. But let me tell you guys something. Your associates sometimes put on airs as if they're your friends, but they're really not your friends. We have difference of opinions, and that should be just what it is, difference of opinion. But it shouldn't violate the friendship. It shouldn't violate the friendship. And one thing that I would say about true friends don't try to force opinions of theirs on their friends. They love them despite the differences. And if you don't know how to do that, you're not a real friend. Quickly, we can lose the friendship vibe by not understanding that we have feelings. And, It's like, and sometimes I'm tell you right now, I'm guilty of, I try to fix everything for everybody that I come across. And sometimes that's not the right way to be. I have to step back and I got to let God work. And yeah, there's times he's going to work through me, and I appreciate it. I love God for that, for the gift that he's given me, the ability to speak, the articulate way, and the ability to bring people toward me, to me. I love that. But here's the thing, when you're able to be a magnet, you bring all metals to you. So you bring the good and the bad towards you. You bring people that will make your life happy and full. And then you also bring takers. You bring people that you're a great person to them as long as you're doing something for them. But if you're not doing something for them, you don't hear from them, you don't see them, you have no purpose. That's not your friend. And one thing that I've learned to do is accept that. I've accepted when people are not my friends. It doesn't mean that we're enemies just because we're not friends. But I don't like when people push up on it as we're friends, we're BFFs, we're best friends, and we're this, we're that. And I know for certain that that's not true. I know for certain it's not true, and so do they, but they just like the thought of it being that way. I tell all my great friends that I have that are in support of what's going on right now, hey, guess what? You don't owe anything as far as an apology for what someone else did. Because I'm not going to apologize to you for someone, of my skin color that has done something wrong to you when I don't know them. I'm just going to make sure I do my very best to take care of you. I'm going to do my very best to keep your attention on something positive. I want to bring something positive to you. And for those of you out there that are following me and we're in that boat, I apologize for trying so hard to be so much to you when I should have maybe backed off a bit. So I want to take this moment to make sure you know that it was done, whatever I do is done out of love. Because if I don't have that feeling for you, I'm generally not around you. If I'm around you and we're speaking on a consistent and regular basis, you mean a lot to me because I don't have the time for it. I don't mind being by myself either. I want y'all to know that. And I think that's important for you too. If you guys feel like you need somebody around you to define you, then you need to go sit in a corner and fall in love with yourself. Because until you know how to love yourself, you can't truly know how to love someone else. And don't be so selfish and self-centered as to think that you're the only one that's going through something. I had someone tell me that I was already helping, that they would have done this without me. But I have a text that said they couldn't do it without me. But it's so interesting when someone's doing something for you to act like you didn't need them. That's easy to say what's going on. And don't ever say that something's easy for someone when you know nothing about what they do. You know nothing about how to get what they have. It's not fair to them, and it's not right for you to do that. Because no matter what you think you're going through, somebody else is going through a lot worse. Somebody else is going through a lot worse. And this is one of those things where I look at America and I look at the people and I say, how can we get better? How can we do better? I look on social media, I look on Instagram, and I see people tearing down somebody for doing something beautiful. They still find something negative to say about the individual. And I look at the person's, profile, and a lot of times these people don't even have a profile. And then when they do, you look at what's going on, they don't have a lot of followers or they don't have a lot of stuff going on, right? But yet you got time to tear somebody else down. And then you wonder why people look at you as unequal. If you're spending all your time bashing people, tearing people down, talking bad about people, everything you think you're doing to them, you're doing 10 times to yourself. What you should be doing is spending that same type of time tearing people down, reading a book, studying, and making yourself into something special. Because I will tell you this, bad things follow bad habits. Now, I'm going to say it again. Bad things follow bad habits. Not saying that you're a bad person, but you have terrible habits. And if you have terrible habits, good things can't come from that. The one thing I've learned in all my years is that the people that show the most racial hostility are usually the most miserable people that I've ever seen. They always have something bad to say about somebody of another color. They blame it on somebody else instead of going and getting something that they feel like is theirs. Get it the right way. There's a lot of us that weren't born with silver spoons in our mouths. I'm one of them, and had to work my butt off, had to sleep in a car for 3 months back in 1999. But then within 4 years, I made $1 million. And I was able to buy a home. I was able to take care of my mother for the rest of her days and do things for her and special, take her beautiful vacations. But my thing is, it didn't come easy. Nothing comes easy that's worth having. You have to work to get it, and then you have to work to keep it. And that's whether it's your spouse, your children, your pets, your friends. You have to work. Your job, you have to work. Anything that comes easy is probably not worth having. So before you just lash out at people that are reaching an olive branch out, remember this. They might be going through something too, and they just don't want to dump it on you. They feel like talking to you and spending time with you, it enhances their life. It makes it feel, and they hope they're doing the same thing for you. But I tell you what, if you don't tell someone that you're not having a good day or something's going on, you can't expect someone to just read your mind. I did say friends can tell things, but they have to have grown, they have to have bonded with them so much that they really are truly friends and not just really good acquaintances. See, great acquaintances, great associates, they walk a fine line on the friendship line, because there are things that'll be done that you do with your friends, but they're still your associates, because they still talk bad about you behind your back. And even if they talk good about you, they still, they have these switches where they'll hit it and you won't even know they hit it until they lashed out at you. And that doesn't make the world a real fun place to be in. So if you're going to be a friend all the time. See, a friend can get space, but a friend doesn't want to be replaced. And I'm always telling people I can do bad by myself, but I can also do good by myself. Because I do love myself. I love myself to know that I don't deserve some of the things that have happened, some of the things that my so-called air quote friends have made me feel just over conversation. Just think about this. No matter what you're going through, somebody else might be going through something way worse than you. And they may be smiling at you, smiling in your face because they feel better because you're there. But as soon as you bring that dark cloud over them, it can change the game. And you can't be mad at them, because they may say, you know what? I had enough of it. I'm tired of it. Just think about it, guys. When you get tired of a relationship of any kind, dating the wrong person, marrying the wrong person, when you're married and you run your gamut, it's called divorce. If you're friends and your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you run that gamut, it's called breakup. And breakups happen on all levels. So if you're going to be somebody's friend, be their friend. Support them. Don't support them just because they support you. Don't support somebody. Don't do something because it's not in your heart. Do it because it's in your heart. You'll find a lot more joy. Because just like I told you, and when I say this racism stuff, it's on all sides. It's not one-sided. But when I see people that are really racist, they're usually miserable. Just as when I see people that are really happy, they're usually not prejudiced. They're usually not. And if they are, you can't tell it. You know? There's nothing wrong with having preferences. You should be able to marry who you want to marry. You should be able to date who you want to date. You should be able to hang out with who you want to hang out. You know? Because this is your life. And you only get one. You only get one. You're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. If you see somebody striving for excellence, help push them up, especially when you know they're doing something good. Give them a compliment. Don't tear them down. Don't tear them down. Lift them up. And pay it forward. When somebody does something great for you, do something great for someone else for absolutely nothing in return. Because like I say, when I see bad things happening to good people, which happens all the time, bad things, I've always said this, bad things happen to good people every day of the week. But when it consistently happens, you must check yourself. And they're saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself and find yourself picking up yourself all by yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself and find yourself picking up yourself all by yourself. See, I don't say stuff like that just to rhyme. I want you to take it in. Because you can change someone, and like me, somebody that would give you the shirt off their back, someone would do anything for you. They'll do everything to stay away from you by just the way your tone goes toward them, or some things that you said to them that they had time to process. See, there's something special about processing. I always tell people, I don't just go off on people right away. If I care about them, I'll say something. Hey, look, that, don't talk like that, or that's wrong, or you made me feel this way. But that's just the beginning of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go somewhere, especially if I care about you. I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to process what just happened. Now, here's the thing. As I process what happened, I may come back and say, you know what? That was so petty that we were talking about that. I understood it. Hey, my bad. Give me a hug. Give me some love and let's move on. But then again, I might say, you know what? That person just showed me something I did not see in them. I thought the world of them, and just in conversation, I see that they're not the person I thought they were. And then it's easy for me to move away. But I always tell people, be careful who you push away from you, because some of us don't come back. So if you don't need someone, I guess you can keep doing what you do. But if you feel like you need that relationship, if you feel like that relationship makes your life better, make sure you protect that relationship. Make sure you see them for who they are. And when they hurt, you should hurt. You should be trying to make them feel better, but you should feel their pain. It's no different than if you had a loss in the family and I find out and we're supposed to be friends. That should hurt me as if it was my family, because you are my family. So the way you take it is the way I'm going to take it. Now, I'm going to try to cheer you up. I'm going to try to make you feel better. But rest assured, I'm not going to say, oh, that's okay, they're in a better place, and keep it moving. Sometimes people just need to hear you acknowledge the pain that you feel for them. Believe it or not, that could bring them out of the stupor that they're in. It could bring them out of the darkness, the dark place that they're in. Because when they see you in the pain and you let it transfer to you, they feel like, oh no, I can't let you feel this bad. Well, now guess what? You distracted me from what was hurting me so bad, because I care so much for you that I want to make sure we fix this. So I'll say this. If you call yourself my friend, then please know what a friend is and be my friend. Before you call yourself my friend, maybe let me know what a friend means to you. Because then I could be like, well, yeah, we're good, but we're not going to be friends, but we're good. You know? It doesn't make you a bad person or me a bad person if we're not BFFs, if we're not best friends, forever. It's okay if we're just associates, right? We don't have to introduce each other as friends. We could say, hey, this is John, or this is Mike, and this is Cherokee. You don't have to say, this is my friend Cherokee. You can say, hey, this is my colleague Cherokee. This is my business associate Cherokee. You don't have to say, this is my friend Cherokee. But if you do, I understand that it's just so easy to use that term. But let's just remember, if we're going to be friends, then we take the good and the bad. You take me at my greatest, and you take me at my flaws. Thank you guys for getting on here with me and let me talk about that. I love you. Please stay safe. God bless, and wash your hands.